Technically correct.
Yeah.
The best kind of correct.
The best kind of correct.
Welcome back to Poutine Politics, Canadian issues served with cheese curds. My name's Adam.
My name's Mike. And today I want to bring up the topic about what is considered the housing crisis across the nation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, when I say housing crisis, most people think, oh, yeah, it's different things. I say the best way to say it is where you want to call a home. It's a multifaceted problem that affects people in different ways and have different reasons as to why.
Okay.
We're going to have a little bit of a quiz because I like this idea.
Hey, all right.
Right?
Quizzes.
Yes. So, for instance, let's start. Let's just dive right in. Adam,
Yes.
how much do you think it costs to house a homeless person? National average.
Are we talking annually or monthly?
Annually.
$40,000.
An emergency shelter, you would be correct. How much do you think it would cost in an institution such as a hospital or jail?
$100,000.
$60,000 to $100,000.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
Yep.
We'll just keep that in our back pocket.
'Kay.
He's done good so far, which is way better than I can say.
That's probably because I've read some of these facts before.
Right? These are. I'm not pulling these out of my. These are. So let's say you're at semi or at risk, and by semi homeless or at risk homeless, it's either that you don't really have a permanent residence, or your residence may be severely in jeopardy, or you're at risk, in meaning that if you're spending more than 30% of your income on rental property, that means you're at risk. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
How many Canadians that are renting are in that category? Percentage-wise.
60.
97.
Oh, wow. Holy jeez. Okay.
And how much do you think it costs Canada to do transitional housing, which is like subsidized housing?
How much does it cost Canada for transitional housing?
Yeah, like how much does the government cost the government? Not in total revenue, but
Okay.
per person, per household.
Because I was going to give you like a total number that the country spends on it.
Yeah,
but
that's irrelevant.
per
Who cares?
person.
I'm trying to keep it all along the same.
Yeah, and we're just talking about housing. We're not necessarily talking about like.
Not homeownership. Rental.
Yeah. Wow, 20,000 a person. Not even close.
10 to 15.
Yeah. Okay. So in my head at first I was thinking 30, and I'm like, that's stupid. That's way too high.
Right? Okay, so that's the people. Now let's pretend that you have enough money to actually afford a rental at a good rate.
Okay.
Now, or no, you want to go, okay, I'll get the government to help me out. How long do you think it takes to get these kind of things? How long do you think you have to be on a waiting period for it to do this?
to get affordable rental housing or just rental in general?
Subsidized.
Yeah, it's like over 2 years.
7 to 10.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm way off on that one. Although I guess I was technically right because I said over 2 years.
Over 2 years. Yep, he's technically right. And on the open market, what do you think the availability is, or the vacancy rates are? Nationwide.
Less than 1%.
Nationwide? No.
Oh no, nationwide. Oh,
I'm not talking about the hot market.
5%.
1.5.
Okay, so I was closer with my first guess. I should have just stuck with that.
Yeah. Again, important. So home ownership, okay? Because let's say I have enough money to own a home.
Yes.
All right. So since 2009, since the housing crisis,
Yeah.
we'll call it, how much has the median wage increased? Approximately.
The median wage has increased approximately, I'm going to say 3%.
Since 2009?
Yes.
No, 20%.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's like 2%.
being extremely pessimistic, all right?
It's 2% each year.
I'm surprised it's gone up 2% per year. Let's be
On
honest.
average, but that's just an average.
Okay, fine. I'll change my answer and say that I was talking 3% per year.
Like if you're going 3% per year, that's a reasonable expectation. But like, no, 3% over the last 10 years, we've gone up per year less than a percentage
Adjusted
point.
for inflation.
Not adjusting for inflation.
Why not?
Because I didn't bring my abacus.
All right, fine.
Okay, so how much has indebtedness increased?
Oh, like
Over the same time period.
like 80%.
No, it's only 40. But still high.
Damn it. Okay, well,
And how much have housing prices increased over the last 10 years?
on average across the country,
Yes.
60%.
80%.
Okay. Damn it. See, we should go back to the start of the quiz where I was doing well.
I know. It's 20, 40, 80.
All right. They doubled each other.
So the reason why I bring this quiz up really quickly is like, let's pretend that you want to buy a home. Oh, what's that? The housing's way more expensive. You have to make yourself more in debt. And indebtedness, I basically mean how much debt do you have compared to your disposable income? That's in case people are wondering what the heck I was talking about.
Yeah. But
And-
Mike, this first-time homebuyers grant situation that the Liberals introduced is supposed to help people buy homes.
I swear to God, I'll hurt you.
I'm just, I'm just saying, the government's going to give people 5%, up to a limit, but they're going to give people 5%.
Yeah, because somehow adding people to the market helps the market.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so
Not at all. Not at all.
what are the causes of this of the situation?
Money.
The housing, not really.
No, you don't think so?
With
Well,
are you
I
talking
think-
monetary policy? What are you saying?
No, I mean,
You just said money.
like yeah. Well, I mean, that's
money.
That's
Well,
all I
money's
have to
every-
say. That's all I have to say. Money.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're wrong.
Because I think part of the issue is that there's not enough money from the government going into affordable housing, either government or private, because affordable housing should not strictly be a government thing. Private businesses could get into affordable housing. They choose not to.
I'll get into that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to clarify what it was about. Yeah, okay, yeah, those are all good. Anything else? Like I'm going to get into that because you touched on about 3 points there.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Oh, damn it!
Good job
Now I
for
need
you.
to remember what I said.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll get to it.
So I had money and government obviously. I mean, government regulation probably is part of an issue probably.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I did mention private businesses.
Mhm.
Something to do with private businesses.
Mhm.
Not sure what though.
Us.
All right.
Okay, so let's go back up.
Other than not willing to fund it, or possibly the government red tape is difficult for private businesses to get into it because they can't receive the funding from the government to be able to assist them in building the affordable housing.
Something like that.
Okay.
A while back, Canada, in the 80s and 90s, what they did was they were building lots of units, lots of affordable
Yep.
housing, things like that.
Yep.
Apartment units. And in 2000, the 2000s, they're like, wait, there's a housing shortage problem. We can see this in the horizon. Let's stop building houses. That'll fix it. Worked out real well, didn't it?
I mean, you know what? The government did think back in maybe the late 90s and early 2000s that more people would die. I think hear me out. Hear me out. Okay? I think it has to do with not just the baby boomer generation, but the generation before the baby boomers, right? I think there was maybe there was some sort of anticipation that with life expectancies either where they were or they hadn't determined where they were trending to go, because life expectancies have increased quite a bit even just over the last 20 years, that possibly there was an expectation that there'd be more houses essentially available, because there would be as people pass away, or as people move into different stages of their life, whether they need more attendant care or things like that. Obviously, there's a shortage in good retirement and nursing homes as well. That you wouldn't necessarily need as much housing, because housing would become available as people no longer needed it.
It's worked out well. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been great. Let's stop the supply, but let's increase the demand. Because what did the government do? They're like, hey, look, you want to own a first-time home? Oh, I know. This is what we'll do. Okay.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
What are we gonna do?
What we're gonna do?
Hold on, caucus meeting. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Okay. So the banks won't insure us. I know. Let the taxpayer insure them, so that way the banks can afford the mortgages. Because the banks are like, what? The Canadian taxpayers are gonna back us? Oh yeah, sure. We'll give those people mortgages.
No problem.
No
Good.
problems.
CMHC.
Fine work, boys.
CMHC.
Fine works. The government decided that they want to allow more people into the market than should be.
Yeah.
Should be allowed.
Yeah.
And then took away the supply. Job well done.
Is this one of those times where we can say promises made, promises kept?
I could point my fingers at a lot of different governments.
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're definitely
It goes
right.
back to Critchet.
Yes, fair enough.
So just
Fair
go
enough.
through the order.
Yes.
And then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right.
Another problem is zoning, which is something you got into.
Oh, we're not
Right?
going to get into zoning, are we?
No. We're gonna
Okay,
cut
good.
it. Like zoning could often help. Like if you're in a neighborhood, cough Greenbelt, and
What?
you're like, why? I can't stand the fact that my that I have to pay more in taxes and things like that. But we can't have a rental property nearby. can't have a rental property nearby because, those people might come in.
Those people.
Those people might come in and live. We're not talking and when I say by zoning, and there's many aspects of zoning, but a good one is where they're not building anything new,
Yeah.
but you can't have rentals there.
Yeah.
That's a prime example of people just NIMBY running wild,
Yeah. Fair enough.
right? There's a rental shortage in Toronto.
Oh.
Big time.
I think there was an article I saw a couple of weeks ago where was it for a 1-bedroom? The average rent for a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom in Toronto was $2,300. The average monthly rent. There are not that many people in Toronto making that much money.
Nope. Good luck if you're making minimum wage.
You better live with like 7 people.
So what I like, and then there's also the red tape. Let's say, for instance, Adam, you decided that you had the money to make a multiple stage building. It's like with many floors and many different units available to
Yes.
rent, sell, or whatever the case
Yes.
may be. Okay.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm going to build this right here. I got the property. It's zoned correctly. Everything's all good to go.
Yep.
What are you most likely going to build?
What am I most likely to build?
Are you going to build high density, low income? Are you going to make a mix? Are you going to build condos? What do you think you're going to build?
Probably condos.
Why?
I
Because
don't
the
really- I
neighbor
don't-
next door to you says, I'm going to spend $150 because I don't like the look of that building. 3 years later, you might be able to get that building re-permitted.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the court system is really lengthy too.
Yes.
So it waits
So I'm going to choose the condos
because it's a more stable rate.
Okay. As opposed to like a standard apartment building, I guess.
Mhm.
Right?
Because by the time you make to do your apartment building with the GST deemed and all that kind of stuff, fun stuff, and condos are not good for the rental market.
No. But they're certainly great for the Airbnb market.
Yeah, there's
There-
another problem too.
Yeah, I know. Short-term rentals.
Hey, why would I need to pay a rental person? Somebody that I can't really kick out anytime soon unless I have a really good reason.
Yeah.
When I can rent out my place for like 2 to 3 times more per month, I only have to have it available half the time. This is great.
Yeah.
This is a win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can kick them out, and I can racially profile an Airbnb.
Yeah.
That dirty little secret that I don't like to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I can admit that I've never owned a unit that I've put on Airbnb, but I have certainly used Airbnb. So I'm guilty as a customer in the sense that I am, in my own little way, right? I am helping to propagate the problem, right?
I don't think Airbnb as a whole is a bad thing.
No, but I mean, like we've stayed in a condo in Toronto,
Yep.
okay, through Airbnb. To me, the short-term rentals market should have a limitation to things like cottages, vacation homes, things of that nature, not condos and apartments and things that should be available to the long-term renter.
Yes. You can do it. You can solve that problem in other ways. And then there's just speculation.
Yes.
It's by speculation. It's people that are buying housing units not because they want to use it for a home, but they want to use it for other things. And there are people that are in Toronto. They're like, oh, you know something? The housing market's going up 33%. I want in on that. So I'm going to buy that house. I'm going to mortgage my current house that I've got paid off, leverage it to no end, and I'm not going to rent it out because I know that it's actually more profitable for me to just take the annual loss on the taxes and let it increase in value every year, provided that they still increase in 33%.
Yeah, you're taking a gamble, and it's like what you hear on commercials for investment companies, where it's like past performance does not guarantee future results or whatever. It's like realistically, the housing market cannot continue to grow in value at that level.
No,
not even close. I mean, the stock market doesn't grow at that level on an annual basis. To think that realistically housing prices could continue to grow even at 10% per year is a stretch. I feel like there has been some things recently that maybe are going to curb it on its own. I think that's going to cause a lot of issues with people that are expecting that they're going to be able to get that value out of those homes. It's potentially going to create an explosion of available units on the market again, which would definitely drive the prices down. I would think. I don't know for sure, but I've heard from people that say there's a lot of empty condos because of this in Toronto, in Vancouver, in Montreal, wherever, right?
They're also driven by different kind of speculation. They're driven by foreign investment or special conglomerates that are trying to put their hedge funds and things like that.
Yeah.
That's foreign investment, things
Yep.
like that, which does happen.
Yes, it does. Money laundering. I mean, that's not all of what it is, obviously, but I'm just saying that some money laundering does come from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In
so,
BC, it's 5%.
yes.
Apparently. Okay, so what are we doing about it currently
Nothing.
as a national strategy? No. The Liberals did announce
There
it.
is a national housing strategy. I know
Yes,
that.
the Liberals did
I
announce
know.
it. Their plan is to have $40 billion over 10 years.
40 billion over 10 years.
Over $40 billion over 10 years, and
Okay.
they're going to plan to create 300,000 units. And coincidentally, everything's backloaded.
Well, yeah, of course.
So it's
Why would we start building stuff now when we need it?
meaning by backloaded, I mean everything's promised after the election.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't even started yet.
That's correct.
Okay,
It's
great.
just been
even
announced.
better. Even better.
Just been announced.
Hey.
Love it. Okay, so that's the current platform. Now,
there is more to that national housing strategy, like increasing what you can withdraw from your RSP through the home buyers plan.
okay, I'm talking about stuff that works.
I know. Well, this technically doesn't work yet either because they're not building any homes yet.
Okay, the ones that will actually potentially could work,
Okay,
not the
fine.
ones that will make it worse.
Okay, fair enough.
Putting more. Okay, supply and demand works this way. If you have more demand, price goes up. If you have less supply, price goes up. We're doing both. Job well done. Okay.
Nobody. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. 99.9% of people never said that the government was perfect.
All four major parties have addressed the issue. I wouldn't consider all platforms, but all parties have addressed the issue.
Well, the NDP is going to build 500,000, and the Green Party is going to build 400,000, or build or rehabilitate 400,000.
Yes.
So everybody's trying to one up the Liberals for this election.
Is the Liberal Party's platform including what they're currently proposed, or is it not? Because everyone else is building off of that platform. And they are not specific saying like, so the NDP's 500,000, is that including the 300,000? Right?
Don't know. I mean,
So
I assume that it's like we're increasing, not by 500,000, but you know how the number is going to be 300,000 based on the National Housing Strategy Plan? We're going to bump it up to 500,000.
Yeah, that's
what
I'm
I
going.
assume.
I'm going off of that idea that they're going to everyone's keeping everything in place as it is, because unless they say nothing else, that's all we can go off of.
Yep.
Even though we all know that that's not what's going to happen.
They're going to build half of the units in twice the time.
Yeah. Right? And that's for everybody. Like it doesn't matter who it is. So, what are the parties going to do going forward? And I gave them a grade.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
graded them.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
You like grades.
I do like that. I really do. So what is the Liberal platform? They're going to expand first-time home buyers. Okay, good job, boys. Way to increase the demand. That's great. That's going to help the housing problem. That's going to make it. So, and the other thing, too, is that if you have more people that can't afford a house, they have to rent. That means the renting goes up. And if more
Yes.
people can't afford the rent, they become at risk. And the people that are at risk, therefore, then make the homeless people. So it's a trickle-down effect. And the worst problem is that it's cheaper to put people in houses. So, yeah, good job. And they're also going to put a 1% tax on foreign investment.
That's not high enough.
The exceptions, do you know what the exceptions are?
Everybody.
If you're,
Everybody's exempt.
Canadians, if you're a Canadian citizen
Yeah.
or a Canadian living abroad,
Okay.
or
yeah.
you're a Canadian company.
Sorry, that's the exemptions from the
Foreign tax.
foreign tax.
So who is going to get charged with this?
Well,
An idiot that doesn't know how to do tax, like doesn't figure out how to get around this tax loophole?
yeah, I guess if you formed a corporate, well, okay, actually, hold on though. So,
It has no teeth.
no, it doesn't. But I mean, the Canadian, let's say the Canadian business, Canadian corporation, whatever. So, I'm gonna guess because I haven't looked at the National Housing Strategy entirely, but I would assume that let's say someone from Dubai
Okay.
wouldn't be able to form a corporation in Ontario to buy a property and avoid the foreign withholding tax unless they could find a proxy in Canada for them to be the shareholder of that corporation.
You mean the ones in Panama?
Yeah. Well, who's the proxy there, though? Someone in Panama?
Well, the Panama, like all the companies that are run through Panama.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all they have to do.
Yeah, but Panama probably has different tax laws. Like
what I'm saying is
my point is that if a corporation in Canada that's formed in Canada has only foreign shareholders, they're technically not considered a Canadian corporation. They would be considered a foreign operation.
But they don't have. All they have to have is one.
I know. That's no. It's there is a 50% plus one rule to that.
Is there?
There is, yes.
But then they just do it with a Canadian investor.
Yeah.
So, like I said, unless you don't know what you're doing,
which I'm sure they can afford the accountants to tell them or to show them to know what they're doing, or in some cases, especially out in BC, these foreign buyers are using Canadian lawyers as their proxies, basically, to do these things.
Hmm? Yep. It has no teeth. No teeth. And like people are punching holes through it. So unfortunately, liberal platform, those are the only two things that they have on the platform.
Wow.
They get a big fat F because that's nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, not nothing. Nothing would be better.
I don't even think they should get an F. I think they should get like a note from the teacher.
Right?
See me after class.
Okay. The Conservative Party they're going to end the stress test on mortgages.
Oh, okay. Let's add more people to the market.
No.
Again, right?
It'll do it just means that the stress test will mean that it won't be the CMHC doing it. It means it will be the banks doing it.
Would they still have to meet the Bank of Canada conventional rate in order to qualify? Would people have to still meet the Bank of Canada conventional rate to apply for a mortgage?
Yeah. So
because that's what the stress test is.
Yeah. So would it mean? Sorry, from what I understand, and if this is the way it is, it's a better, but not great. So it just means that they will have to make themselves available to the bank standards as opposed to the artificial inflated CMHC standards.
Okay.
Which is better because the banks...
the bank standards are higher, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because their money's on the line, not Canadian taxpayers' monies.
Well, okay, fair enough.
They're the ones insuring it, basically. So that's good.
So they would eliminate... Would they eliminate the CMHC entirely, or would they just change its mandate?
They just changed its mandate.
Okay.
So the stress test, which is saying that you have to have 2%, which is as increased, which is good, but still they're just saying we're going to eliminate it so that way we don't have as many first-time home buyers, which is good because we don't want more people on the market.
Right. Okay. All right.
So they get a D because that's all they're doing.
That's all they're doing.
That's all they're doing.
D minus.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I gave him a D minus. Sorry, my apologies.
That's a D okay, valid. Yes. All right.
It is a D minus.
There you go. All right.
Apologies. If that's what they're doing, I may have been reading it wrong because it was hard to find. So the NDP, they're going to create 500,000 units
in 10 years.
They're going to remove GST and HST on rentals, add $5 billion to the affordable housing, put $40 million into shelter programs. All this is great, but they are also going to double the home buyer tax credit.
Yay!
Let's put more people in the market again. And they're going to increase it from 25 years back to 30 years for first.
Yeah. Yes,
again.
That's right. They're gonna bring back 30-year mortgages. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're going to have fast start funds for housing, but no timetable, nothing, no money involved. We're just going to put it in the cloud.
Like most of their platform.
Yeah. Well,
money? What's money?
But they did do something. So I gave them a B because they're doing some things. Some of them aren't so good.
You're nicer to them than I would have been. I think
they do some things.
I know, but
like their only bad thing was the home credit in the 30 year. But that's basically targeting first home buyers, and it's not first home buyers aren't the ones that are creating all the problems.
I suppose, but again, it goes back to the point you're making about it's adding more people to the market that shouldn't necessarily be in the market.
It shouldn't necessarily.
Which is why I would probably rate them more like a C.
Okay.
Ish.
That's fine. Now the Green Party is like housing is a right.
Yes.
Increase and funds for new builds.
Yeah.
Remove first home buyer grant.
Mm-hmm. That's the new one that the Liberals brought in, was the first-time homebuyer grant. Not the first-time homebuyer credit. They are two different things, even though they have the same name.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Restore tax incentive for rentals.
Yeah.
Remove GST from the rental market. And changing legislation against Indigenous people. So I gave the Green Party an A- because they did a lot. They didn't do anything I would consider to negatively impact the market.
Yeah.
which is better than the rest.
Yeah.
Except for the Conservative Party that did nothing. I guess they didn't do anything really. But they didn't do anything really.
Well, right. So they didn't affect the market. Maybe you need to bring the conservative grade up.
Well, no, it's a pass.
I guess. Yeah, it was a D minus.
That's still a pass.
51%.
Good job, Conservative. Way to reach for the skies. But I don't think they did enough. Like, there's a lot of things that weren't addressed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and their plan, I don't know if you mentioned it in there, was up to 400,000 units in the next 10 years, between 250,000 that would be new and 150,000 that would be rehabilitated.
Yes, because there's some that are just
right. So it wouldn't just be new builds, but essentially through all of it you would get 400,000 new units.
Yes.
So,
but the real solutions are basically these things. Build more houses. We need more supply. Just build them.
Yeah.
We need to CMHC used to build houses. We could get back into that business.
The government doesn't want to be in that business anymore.
No, we need to be back in that
I know. I mean, outside of like Crown land and national parks and stuff like that, I don't think the government wants to be in the land ownership business. We'll see what happens after the election.
Well, their promises are.
Yes.
I'll say. They haven't said they're not. So all parties are still going to go with the proposed bill that's been passed or whatever it's called. CMHC needs to raise the bar. Like, come on now. You can't, just because I know everybody's like, I want a first-time home. It's great. If we have a housing market like we have, you can't. You have to raise the bar.
Yeah.
And I don't mean raising the bar from let's raise the interest rates.
Yeah.
Raise the bar, entry bar. Here's one. We need full disclosure on property because it's not.
What do you mean?
We don't full disclosure on property. Like
in the sense of
when you're buying and buying property and things like that.
Oh.
We don't full disclosure.
Right. Okay. You mean like because like
we don't know who bought that property. So let's say
right.
you have a corporation.
Yeah.
We don't actually know who invested that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We just we can find what the numbered company is, but we don't know who's behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Tax foreign investments.
Yeah.
There are big companies, big mutual fund, hedge fund companies, things like that. They're just buying properties to refurbish them and resell them, which is bad for the housing market. I'm not saying it's bad. It's bad for the housing.
It's good for the financial sector.
Yeah,
but
it's bad for the housing crisis.
Yeah,
for the housing crisis as a whole.
Yes.
Okay. We need to tax empty homes.
Yep. Now, I would even go into the micro level on that one, going back to the short-term rental situation. In that, if you run your property as a short-term rental, and like you said, let's say you left it empty half of the month, I think you should still be taxed on the fact that you are leaving it empty for a portion for a period of time, even if it is a small period of time.
Yes, very much. Like a vacancy, regardless if it's because of Airbnb or speculation or even snowbirds.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, snowbirds are definitely not the problem.
No, and
because they've been around forever and they've always been there around. But your property is not being used. I'm not going to exempt you.
Even if it's a principal residence?
No. I'm not going to exempt you.
Okay.
Right? Because you could it's a loophole.
You're going to get a lot of people mad at you.
I said it's a solution. Like you could make the argument that a principal residence would be okay, and I would be like, fine.
All right.
Eliminate red tape. So when properties go up, they shouldn't take forever to do. Like just build the things. Don't. You don't want the market to change. When the market in Toronto or Vancouver is changing 33% per year, and it takes you 3 years to even get the thing off the ground because of the number of loopholes you have to build, you can't plan for that.
Streamline the permit process. Oh my God. The permit process in like municipalities, the permit process when it comes to building anything needs to be overhauled.
You like the fact that people around here don't make new decks, they repair the old ones and build them 5 times the size.
Yes. But as long as you don't attach it to the house, you don't need a permit. That's what I keep hearing from people.
Well, no. If you have one that's attached to your house, but you say you're repairing the deck.
Yes. You don't need a permit, right?
You don't need a permit. Yeah. But if you need to expand it, you need a permit. So I can repair it 5 times larger.
This is what I had to do to stabilize it.
We're in a housing crisis. We need to do drastic things now.
Yep.
Because we screwed up 20 years ago, and we got to fix it now.
Yeah.
You might want to lift it later. You might need provision saying once the housing crisis gets to certain points, we can lift them up. But until then, we have to do something. And what we're doing is sitting on our thumbs saying, wow, look at these housing prices that go through the roof. Let's invest. That's not a housing bubble that can possibly burst.
No, not at all. I mean,
and then there's also the people that say that, home ownership is worse off than renting. You should rent unless you know that you have the money for it, because home ownership is actually a terrible investment.
yeah, I would say in the grand scheme of things, home ownership is a terrible investment. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that I own my home.
Because it's a home.
Right. And you know what, if it wasn't for major maintenance projects, let's say, yeah, I am spending less money on my house every month than if I did rent somewhere, especially with the current rents and with the size of a rental I would need for my family, right? I'm the one that's paying for the roof if the roof needs to be fixed. I'm the one paying for, painting or building a new room, so all the drywall and the wood and so on and so forth. Like the driveway, the driveway needs to get done, that's me, right? And then the interest that you're paying on your mortgage. I mean, that's the one that's funny to me in regards to the house as an investment situation. I mean, I get it. Interest rates on mortgages are pretty low right now, but it's still a cost. It's still a cost you have to factor in to what you make on your property. And maybe not as much now, but previously, you make let's say you make $100,000 selling that house. Well, you didn't really make $100,000 when you factor in all of those costs that went into it that you don't think about, saying that hit your bottom line.
Yeah, and also a house is a big anchor too, right?
Yep.
Right. So if your employment situation changes, or even the school system changes, right? Like a school closes down or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And you need to move, you have a big anchor. However, at the same point in time, if you own your own home, as long as you don't lose your source of income, you can't get kicked out for any reason.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get kicked out in rentals. Even the most structured and legit rentals can still kick you out.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they can say. And don't even get me started on rent control, because it doesn't work.
No.
Because then people just charge more, and people don't leave because they're like, well, why would I leave? I can't go anywhere else. So therefore, then the market vacancy goes down.
Yeah. Yep.
Rent control doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. All right.
Which is why I didn't address the solution. But
it's not in your notes.
No, it's
Rent
not.
control is not in your notes.
No.
All right. At least for the time being, we've covered. Would you call it affordable housing or just housing in general?
Housing.
I guess? Housing.
Home,
housing
I call it
strategy.
living in a place you call home.
All right. Perfect. So this has been Living in a Place You Call Home. Thank you for listening. My name's Adam.
My name's Mike.
We'll talk to you soon.